That also brings up the question of when somebody fails.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you mean you can't ever trust them again? We hope. But people confuse forgiveness, reconciliation, and trust.
Mm.
Forgiveness has to do with the past. We 100%, if somebody, it only takes one person to forgive and it's free.
Yeah.
I can forgive somebody no matter what they do.
Or if they want it, right?
That's forgiveness, and it's free. Forgiveness has to do with the past, and it's free. Trust has to do with the future, going forward, what are we going to do? And it's not free, it's earned. And those are very clear biblical constructs, very clear, that he who is faithful in little will be given more. He goes away on a long journey, and he came back, and to the one that he gave 5, it turned it into 10. He gave more. Well done. The one that had 2 and turned it into dough. Well done. But the one that didn't perform, what did he do? Took that away and gave it to the one who had shown a track record. There's no such thing in the New Testament as a non-performance culture. It is not there. Even the one that's fruitful, John 15, is pruned so they can become more fruitful. Even when you're performing, you're going to get feedback and performance reviews and continue to get better. Why? So God can have a greater return on this investment called grace, which you didn't earn. He put that money in the program when we were dead broke.
Yeah. So the thing that produces fruit, even that must be pruned.
Yeah, I mean, even the ones that are performance culture is always asking for performance, and God wants a return on his investment. Always. And he has grace, certainly, that we don't have to perform at all to be in the family. But I mean, what parent doesn't have a performance culture in their house? Only the parents of future drug addicts or 40-year-olds that are going to be living on the couch playing video games.
Right.
Yep. You have to, I mean, all the research in the world, where do healthy kids come from? Homes with high warmth and high expectations. Okay. Now, the difference in grace is I'm not demanding that you be there today. You can't.
Yeah.
You're ignorant. You need training. You need teaching. You need help. Grace is unmerited favor, and grace empowers us to reach the standard. It doesn't do away with the standard. And a lot of times in churches, if somebody comes and starts to ask for any kind of accountability or measurement or anything that holds people to performance standards, the first thing you'll hear, I guarantee, I bet you anything you've heard this sentence. Well, what are you talking about? You're trying to run this like a business. This is a ministry.
Right.
You ever heard that?
Well, why is it so corporate?
Why is it so corporate?
Right.
To which I say, so what you're telling me is God's business is the only one that's allowed to suck? To not perform? To not be fruitful?
Yeah, precisely. Yeah.
That's not what the New Testament says.
Yeah.
Now, it's done differently because the law, when we fail, kills. The law produces wrath. The law gives shame. The law gives condemnation, all of that. But what standards do are call us upward because he came down to where we are, and leaders have to meet the people where they are at the bottom of their performance and help lift them. But you never take away the standard. And so we've got to, if we trust somebody, what standard of performance have they met in life or in this position or in this path or in this way? They may never have led a ministry before, but they've shown the competencies in leading whatever they've led that are going to be needed there, that they've proven themselves.
Right.
And the New Testament says that all the time about entrust to faithful men and prove it and
Yeah.
all of this stuff. And so, you know, when in people's dating lives,
Yeah.
the best predictor of the future is the past, which is why somebody says, oh, well, you know, and I hear this all the time. I do a call-in thing every now and then. People say, well, I'm dating this guy, and I'll say, how long? And they'll say, well, you know, about a few months now, and gosh, I think he's the one. And well, what, 2 months? Well, we can't get engaged yet because he's waiting for his divorce to be final. Okay, let's just stop for a second.
Pause. Right.
Okay. The best predictor of the future is the past.
Yeah.
All right. So here's what I don't mean. I don't mean if somebody's had failed relationships that they can't ever have a good one.
Right.
But what we got to do in order for her to trust him, we need to trust his past. So what that means is I want him to get a new past. And in that conversation, she goes, well, how can you get a new past? I'll say, well, today he doesn't have one. But if he goes into divorce recovery, he starts to see a good shrink and figure out what he contributed. Yeah. I mean, he might say he's perfect, but at least he has a bad people picker if he's perfect. But some about his patterns and dynamics might have contributed. How's he got to mature and this and the other? And he does that for a year.
Yeah.
And then he starts to behave in different ways. So at that point, we got a new past.
Yeah.
To look back on.
Yeah. We tell a different story.
Or even in restoring leaders.
Yeah. Yep.
I strongly believe in leaders being restored. But sorry is not enough. Sorry covers yesterday. A lot of other things get somebody increasingly trustworthy in the future. And that has to be earned. So we just want to be able to look at the past. What do we see? Could be horrible. Great. Let's go forward. Horrible. Good intentions. Let's see before we bet the farm.